I'd like to call the meeting to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Belsley?
Here.
Blunier?
Here.
Dobb?
Here.
Hare?
Here.
Herman? Here. Kaufman?
Here.
Ainson?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anyone who would like to make a public comment? Would you please come to the podium, give us your full name and address?
My name is Christopher Ferris, and I live at 309 North Illinois Avenue here in Morton. Excuse me for my prepared remarks here, but I didn't have time to memorize these. Mr. President and board members, I'm here before you tonight to appeal to you, the Board of Trustees, to work together with the Apostolic Christian elders and preserve Morton history. The Apostolic Christian Church is one of the few historical landmark structures that is left in Morton. It is as much a part of our DNA as the apostolic people themselves are a part of Morton's DNA. If you agree to accept the Apostolic Church property that you are planning on purchasing with the caveat that the building be demolished, you will be acting contrary to the best long-term interests of our community. Surely there are several potential reuses of this structure that would respect both the wishes of the Apostolic Church elders and those in this community who want to preserve our history and culture, including many current and former Apostolic Christians. I ask that you take a step back from this rushed agreement that you have before you. I ask that you would not agree to accept the property at 225 East Jefferson with the caveat that the church is demolished. I ask that you work towards an agreement that would instead see the building readapted in a way that would serve future generations of this community as it has served former generations. And I ask that you do this not only for this community, but as a testament to the people who have attended that church and who are members there. In the past, you have tried in vain to develop cultural ties with the Chinese, when we have here in Morton an excellent cultural connection to the German-Swiss people. Just one idea that was shared with me today by someone with deep apostolic roots was to develop this building into a place of education, a heritage center that would showcase Morton's German-Swiss roots. There could be contained within such a building a museum, local history room, conference rooms, visitor center. I think the list goes on. And this is just one possibility of a reuse. I ask that you don't throw away an opportunity to preserve the history of Morton and that of its people. I thank you for your time. Thank you.
We don't engage in any kind of debate during this session, but one thing I think needs to be put on the record, and that is that neither the village or the school board was involved in any way in the decision to tear down the Apostolic Church. And further, neither the village or the school board will be involved in any way in actually tearing it down. It was strictly and completely a decision of the Apostolic Church. Would anyone like to remove anything from the consent agenda? We have on the consent agenda minutes, bills, and an authorization for the chief to sell some old police cars. Would anybody on the board like to remove anything from the consent agenda? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Randy, Ginger.
Second.
Any questions? Call it, please.
Belsley?
Yes.
Blunier?
Yes.
Dobb?
Yes.
Hare?
Yes.
Herman? Yes. Kaufman?
Yes.
We have no public hearings, but Trustee Belsley has a presentation he would like to bring to us tonight.
Actually, there's two ladies here that are going to give the presentation, but when they come forward, now I'll do just some brief comments prior to that. What I'd like to do is, I guess, draw the board's attention to this brochure that you would have gotten in your board packet. and have with you hopefully this evening, but it's an informational brochure on Rebuilding Together. Rebuilding Together is a nationwide organization with a Peoria chapter, and its focus is on affordable home ownership and revitalizing neighborhoods. And earlier this summer, at her suggestion, I guess, we met with Lisa Moser, who is with the Peoria chapter, and along with Roger Spangler, we met to meet with her and find out more about her involvement with the organization, as Lisa's a Morton citizen, and she's been involved with this organization for several years, and her interest is to find out what opportunities there would be to expand the presence of Rebuilding Together in the Morton area. So I guess with that, I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Exactly. Well, thanks. Yes, I am Lisa Moser. I am a Morton resident, over 40 years in Morton, and I have to admit this is the first time I've been to a village board meeting. So this is all new for me. I have been with Rebuilding Together Peoria for about 7 years now on the board. I am the House Selection Chairman. And what we primarily do is Rebuilding Together, formerly known as Christmas in April. That may sound a little more familiar to some of you. Our organization has about 150 affiliates throughout the U.S., and we work with homeowners that are of elderly and or disabled beings. We work with HUD income levels every year. And our mission is to keep these homeowners in their home, keeping them warm, safe, and dry. And with me here tonight, I have our president. This is Pam Howe, and she is going to give you a little bit more information about maybe how Morton could be interested or involved in some of this. So here's Pam.
Thank you. And like Lisa, this is my first time at a village board meeting, so enjoy being here and pleased to talk to you a little bit about Rebuilding Together Peoria. I have been with the organization since its inception in 1993. It is one of those organizations that once you get in there and do it, you kind of develop a passion for it. And Lisa described it fairly well. We have determined through a lot of statistics that the elderly and disabled citizens in our communities would much rather stay in their own homes and age in place in their own homes. If at all possible, rather than being in a situation where they have to choose to be institutionalized in some fashion or receive nursing home care. So we go out and provide home modifications. We provide home improvements that will allow them to age in place in their homes. All of these improvements are provided free of charge to the homeowners. There is no expense to them. The idea being that we want to give them a safe and healthy housing situation. It's kind of the motto nationally for Rebuilding Together. Our mission statement is safe and healthy housing. And the only way we can do that is being a community revitalization partner. So we currently partner with the City of Peoria, the City of East Peoria, Richwoods Township, and the County of Peoria. We certainly would like to let you know that we're very open to partnering with the Village of Morton as well, if you should so choose to do so. As Lisa indicated, our homeowners are subject to HUD low income level requirements. So we do require that they meet the HUD guidelines for low income. But we have them go through an application process, which I believe in your packets you even have a copy of what our application looks like. And we go out and we go visit the home and we do a thorough walkthrough with some skilled trades folks that assist in determining what are those things that need to be addressed, especially those key safety issues, whether it be HVAC or electrical. Things that maybe the homeowner may not be aware of, but we certainly want to bring their electric up to code, or there's plumbing issues or something. Fall prevention, the thresholds between different flooring surfaces. Those are the types of things that we look for in order to find the appropriate work scope that would need to be done. The organization then, we are all volunteer-based. As Lisa said, I'm the president of the organization right now, but I actually have a private corporate job, as do the rest of our complete board members. So we're a working board. We do all the work. We don't have any paid staff, but we have a cadre, if you will, of about 700 volunteers that come and do this work. It's on the last Saturday of April each year. Actually, it's the last 2 Saturdays in April. And we will work on 10 to 15 houses with this group of volunteers, this core group of volunteers that we have. Our municipal entities that we partner with, if they commit to the program, they're making a commitment of $1,000 in financial assistance, and then helping us identify corporate partners within the community, because the rest of our funding comes from corporate donations and individual donations. And we have several corporations then that will make donations and provide teams of volunteers or workers to work on the house. So that's how we keep the program rolling and keep it going on with all of the help of those folks. Again, they're like me. Once they try it, we find a lot of companies say, hey, this is an opportunity for our employees to provide some community service. And they have a team building opportunity where they can see each other outside of the office and do something really good to help someone at the same time. If you have any questions, Lisa and I would be happy to answer those. Otherwise, we appreciate, again, the opportunity to be here and your consideration of perhaps partnering with us. Excuse me.
Does anyone have any questions? Could you specifically say what it is you would like this board to do?
If this board would like to partner with us, what we have seen happen in the past is starting out with a particular municipal entity is, would you consider letting us come in and work on one house within the village? And if that were the case, we would ask for $1,000 and your assistance in finding a business here within Morton, a corporation or a business that would be willing to provide additional financial support, and a team of employees and family members, volunteers that would be willing to assist and work on a house. We work on finding applicants. Certainly, if you've got suggestions, definitely we go through the churches and the social service organizations. That's kind of where we start to locate applicants. But certainly, if you know anyone that could use this type of assistance, we always encourage that as well.
Thank you.
It doesn't absolutely have to be corporate.
No.
We do partner with churches, for example. Churches can put together teams and provide financial assistance in some of those cases as well.
To give you on the overall broad picture, we have, what did we do? We did 14 homes last year. We had a budget of $66,000 that we used, and we did repairs on 14 different homes that included 4 new roofs, and we had some new driveways. We've got a lot of support from skilled trades. Several of the unions help us and provide their labor gratis. We have a lot of discount opportunities and flat-out materials donations that we get from various providers as well. So we have determined in our statistics, which I'd be happy to send you a report if you'd like to see it, but basically we're able to take each dollar and return about 4 times the value.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Did you want to make any comments, Trustee Belsley?
They summed it up pretty well. I can't add to that.
Next item is the appointment of some commissioners. Just to bring everybody up to date, Jenna Grimm is now the chairman of the commission, and Mary Spar is the new vice chairman of the commission. The dates you'll notice are a little bit staggered. The idea is to be able to replace the commissioners a third at a time, a third each year. Could I have a motion to put this on the table? Belsley moves. Ginger seconds. Any question? Call it.
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb,
Yes.
Hare,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
That it?
Yep.
Village clerk. Village
Nothing to-
administrator.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Think fast.
I'm like sitting here waiting for him to say something.
Chief?
I just want to let the board know that when we did our drug take back here a couple weeks ago, we collected 146 pounds worth of
Wow.
older unwanted drugs. So just to give you an update on where that ended up for us.
I probably could have got that out of my house if I really worked in it.
Well, it works out pretty well for us, as Craig knows that, our landfills and water treatment aren't capable of getting these chemicals out and filter them out. So it's a good program.
That's a great program. Corporate counsel,
I have nothing.
Director of Fire and Emergency,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works.
I have two items tonight, Your Honor. First is item A. I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for water softening salt from Cargill Salt at $106.50 per ton delivered. I will add that this is a $15 increase, upwards of probably $30,000 annually. Obviously, road salt, softening salt fluctuates with the market, so with that.
Motion, please. Sam, did you?
Second.
I was going to say, it came from that.
That was so subtle, I didn't get it. Any questions? Call it, please.
Dobb,
Yes.
Hare,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Belsley,
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Next item, item B, I'd just like to announce that our semi-annual hydrant flushing is scheduled. It's scheduled to begin Sunday night, October 11th of this month, and it will be conducted between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. daily, Monday through Friday, and between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. nightly. Like we've done before, obviously there, could be a drop in pressure. If you got any questions, please contact us. This is the time to flush the system and get all the stuff out. But we'll be out and about. If you see discolored water, it's normal. But if you got concerns, feel free to call us. Last item, I would like to mention that next meeting I will give an update on the status of the plaza. That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
That it?
Yep.
Planning and zoning.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Belsley.
Just one item I was going to share with the board. I attended an informational open house last week that was hosted by the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission in Peoria, and the focus was to initiate a regional-wide bicycle transportation plan. And it was informational sharing, and resources were available, and by all accounts, it was very helpful. They got a good turnout for this, and this was really sort of the kickoff of this initiative. Obviously, over the years, a lot of the communities, including Morton, has their own plan underway, but this is, of course, looking at it at a regional approach, and it makes sense as we continue to develop it, and certainly bicycle enthusiasts are growing, and certainly among our community, and it just makes sense to promote and support a safe mode of transportation for this, and connecting our communities along the way with it. So it's neat to see this underway. I know we have a number of individuals in Morton that are following this, that are interested in certain promoting bike transportation in our own community, but then on a larger level being able to have other options for that as well in the future. So I think the next level, what I understand with Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, is to take it at the community level, to meet one-on-one with the communities, share more information, get more feedback, and as that plan develops, I'll be glad to update the board or share more information at that time.
That group has actually expressed a willingness to make a presentation to the board. So we may put that in a meeting in the near future. Trustee Blunier.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Dobb.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Hare.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Herman.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Kaufman.
Just one item tonight, Your Honor. Early this year, the Morton Apostolic Christian Church asked me if the Village of Morton would be interested in purchasing their property at 225 East Jefferson, which is approximately 3.2 acres downtown Morton, across from the Jefferson School. They felt it was, they thought the village should have first chance for a couple reasons, because of the schools and for special events and for this green space it would provide. They were tearing the building down. There was never an option of discussing using the building. They want the building down, and I will explain the reasoning. But so in that discussion then, I am proposing resolution number 18-15, the resolution authorizing agreement with the Apostolic Christian Church of Morton in the Morton Unit School District, 709.
Could I have a second to get that on the table? Second, please.
So what I'd like to do is explain this in about 3 or 4 parts, and then have the mayor make some comments and the trustees. What we have here proposed is that the Morton Apostolic Church is willing to sell to the Village of Morton the entire property of 3.2 acres. They feel they would like to knock the church down. They are going to pay for that. We have the first option to buy it. If we don't buy it, the building still comes down, and they will sell the property to somebody else. But they felt the village should have first shot, and so I have had Craig provide you each with a drawing that would show the green space is where the church presently is, from Jefferson to Madison. In the agreement, they would like to have a plaque in the ground laid flat to establish and to make some comments on it that the church has been there in that locations, I think 3 or 4 buildings of the Apostolic Church for 150 years. But they'd like that green space. But again, we're not here voting on what to do with the building. The reason, some of the reasons the Apostolics want the building done, I can speak somewhat on it, is when we sold Restmore, we sold it with good intentions, and it's taken 7 years, and they've had trouble with other churches and other communities selling them with good intentions. People could maybe afford the buildings, but they can't afford to maintain them, and they don't turn out what they want. And so they thought green space, downtown Morton, for a population of 16,000, how many towns of our size would have that much green space, 210 parking spaces? You add the plaza to it, you add the parking lot to what we've done downtown, and I think all that, they felt it should be best green space, and that's what we're voting on tonight. First item, the need to purchase the property, I think it's the perception of the public is it's public parking. Everybody uses it, whether the Apostolics own it or not. The Jefferson School employees and any event going on at Jefferson definitely needs parking. Even the homecoming parade this week I went by, there was a lot of people using that parade for the homecoming parade just because of that location. Tourism events, we have to remember that we do have our tourism office now at the corner of Adams and First Street. And when we did negotiate the bus garage building for the school, we gave the school a 99-year lease for the buses. In that agreement, the village got a 99-year lease on the playground for that week of the Pumpkin Festival. So we have that ground available to us, and this would complement that. The tourism events downtown and what the future generations might want to do there. We do have some concerns ongoing sometimes on closing streets. Having this amount of property for events, I would certainly think that would help that. And we again would gain around 210 parking spaces. Number 2, there's an intergovernment agreement with the school district. that they are going to put toward the purchase price of the 625, $220,000. They are going to take care of any snow removals that they need to open their schools. So the street department will not worry about the parking lot till after the school is open. When we have the alleys, everything opened, we would snowplow the remainder. They may unload buses possibly for safety reasons, but there will be no buses parked there overnight. It's also in the agreement, if the Jefferson School ceases to be used, that the school would be reimbursed for the first 20 years, $150,000. So the minute they sign the agreement, $70,000 of the $220 is toward the long-term maintenance, whether it's blacktop, striping, repairs. They are helping with that cost. We tried to make it simple. Their name will not be on the deed. It would be in the deed of the village, but they are going to take care of their parking and snow removal. And then after 20 years, they would only receive $100,000 back. And the rationale is all this is if there's no school there, they don't need it. Why should we keep their money when they're helping us pay for it up front? They're just paying some of the maintenance. They're in charge of our school's education, but they are paying some of the long-term maintenance bills. Then we have the value of the asset and how the village is going to be paying cash for the property and where that money is coming from. Well, there's no property taxes on the property now, so we're not taking anything off taxes. It's all school. That 3.2 acres downtown Morton is church property, pays no taxes, so there's no tax loss to the citizens. Again, the church is getting the first right to buy it, and the money is, we have approximately $280,000 right now in the tourism fund. By the time the second payment would be made, we would have most of that. We'd probably have over $300,000. So when you look at 625, 220 comes from the school, that remains $405. Approximately of that $405,000, $300,000 will come from tourism, and approximately $100,000 we have in the appropriations already for that in our appropriations, so we can spend that money. But when the appropriations comes through for next year, then the administrator can, over a period of time, reimburse that $100,000 out of the business district tax. I know that sounds confusing, but what I'm saying is there's no property tax paying for this property. It's tourism tax dollars and business district tax dollars. The tourism brings into this fund about $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and the business district brings $30,000 to $37,000. So we have to have money in appropriations to buy property. We have that. When we vote on this and agree to this, we have to put $1,000 down. Once the school votes on this same agreement in the next week or two, once they approve it, then within 5 days, we have to pay $99,000. So we'll have $100,000 down. Then on June, I believe it's June 1st, we have to pay $305,000. That will be all the money the villages pays. The remaining $220,000 will be paid to the Apostolics once the building comes down. During the building coming down, the Director of Public Works, Craig Laudermilk, we have in the agreement, has some say on how the ground is filled to compaction and different things, so that when it's leveled, it is to the village standards, and that's all in the agreement. Once the building is down, then the school will pay the last $220,000. The building would come down after the Pumpkin Festival of next year. So after September of 2016, the building will come down. In the school, the payment of $220 would not be before September 1st and no later than April 6th of 2017. This is similar to the agreement we did for Farm and Fleet, where the church can move out at their timing when they want to. Nobody's rushing, whatever, but we didn't want to tear the building down during Pumpkin Festival, before or right after, get that done, and then the building could come down. So that's how it is. So there would actually be, when our administrator would reimburse that $100,000 over those months, there would be no property tax paying for this $405,000. I want the citizens to know that tourism tax, when people visit Morton and buy gas or hotel and restaurants, we collect around a couple $100,000 a year in hotel tax, and then the tax on that 0.25% business tax will pay for these two. So we would have our share paid in full by June 1st of next year. The school would make the last payment of $220 once it's approved by Craig Laudermilk, that the fill and everything is up to standard and the church is down. And I think that's all I have, Your Honor.
I don't want to take anything away from Jeff, because I have to confess I was not involved in the negotiations. This entire project has been managed by him. But I was curious about the value we were getting, and after checking with the appraiser and checking with some other folks about the value, I find to my satisfaction that the Apostolic Church has made us a very nice offer for this property. And what really made me feel good about this whole project is, if that wasn't positive enough, is the fact that the school has stepped up. I mean, this is a great, here you've got Michelle Bernier and Lindsay Hall stepped right up, and they're willing to pay a very substantial part of this cost. It's a great opportunity for the two boards to work together, and I'm pretty tickled with the whole way this has gone down. And thanks again to Jeff.
Well, they were great to work with. They seen the value, and we were very fair in reimbursing if they don't use it. But that school will be there for years, so I thought it was very fair.
Do any of the trustees have a question? Call it.
Hare,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Belsley,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Any closing remarks, Jeff?
Thank you. I just didn't want to be the trustee in town that voted against that agreement, and someday there's something built there, and we want to know why we didn't vote for that. And you have to be, it's a very fair price for that. Very
Great. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Second, Sam. Call it, I guess, can we do that by voice?
So.
We do it by voice to adjourn. All in favor?
You had.
Any opposed?